All right, what's up, you bold beauty bosses? It's been a long time coming. And let me tell you this, it's always worth the wait. All right, today we have Honey Lynne Knight. Is that correct, Honey?
Yes, that is correct.
Right, with Heal Facial Spa. Honey is, for this first year, Honey, you mentioned this is the first time you're hitting six figures, correct?
Correct.
And that's what it's about. We're going to share Honey's journey. She's going to share about, where she was, how she got to six figures, some tactical steps in between. And hopefully the goal is for you to be able to pick out a couple of nuggets that will help you and your business, because my philosophy is what one woman can do, another woman can do. So this is to inspire, to give you some gems. So, Honey, tell us a little bit about you. One, how long have you been an esthetician? What got you into aesthetics? Let's start with that.
Okay, so what got me into aesthetics was I was a massage therapist and had been a massage therapist for quite some time, and I had exceeded the longevity period of what a massage therapist was supposed to have in the business. So
What do
I
you,
think
what
I
do you mean by that, the longevity?
So they generally tell us as massage therapists, you probably have a lifespan of 7 to 10 years in the business. After 7 to 10 years, your body starts to endure a lot of wear and tear, and you need to start thinking of alternatives. When I started thinking of alternatives, I think I was probably at the 11 to going on my 12th year mark, and I was like, I really need to start thinking of something. And at that period of time, $65 Brazilians were selling like hotcakes everywhere. So I got it in my mind that I was like, well, I'll just go to aesthetic school. It's something I always wanted to do. And I'll just be a waxer. It's 1/4 of the time of a massage, because you're turning over $65 Brazilians every 25 minutes, 15 if you're good, 7 if you're amazing. So I was like, ooh, that's where the money's at. So went to aesthetic school, realized I hated waxing.
You know what? Everything sounds like a good idea until you get into the nitty-gritty of it, right?
Right. Because I'm a massage therapist. I make people feel better. And waxing was completely opposite of that. And I was like, I'm hurting the humans. So anyway, I realized very quickly that my teachers loved me because I was already a massage therapist. And I was like, what does massage have to do with facials? And they were like, just wait. And I was like, okay. So as things moved on, I fell in love with giving facials. Rubbing on people's faces was just brought me joy. Um, so I started my aesthetics career as a solo esthetician right out the gate because I was under the assumption that, of course, the people who got massages from me would want facials.
And how long ago was that?
That was
When you started your business?
when I started my massage business.
No, the as an esthetician.
Aesthetics, I believe it was 2015.
Okay.
Okay, so what I quickly found out is people are generally massage people or they're facial people. And the only time they're the two at the same time is when it's a birthday or an anniversary.
Mhm.
And I needed to figure out how to get facial clients because that was my retirement plan. How was I going to stop doing massage if I couldn't get facial clients? So I did what I do best and I pivoted very quickly to Groupon, that's how I built my massage business. I even wrote a book on how to make Groupon work for you. I haven't sold but one copy, but I didn't know marketing then, which we'll get there. But so I quickly realized that the facial clients that were coming in from Groupon definitely loved the deal, but I couldn't get them to commit to a skincare routine. And I couldn't understand that because it wasn't that hard with massage. I gave them the massage. I was like, would you like to rebook? When am I going to see you again? They rebooked, life moved on. With facials, it was not like that. And I had to figure out where the problem was at on why they weren't rebooking, because I have no problem rebooking you on the spot. I have no problem with offering an incentive to get you to rebook on the spot. I have no problem telling you exactly why you need to rebook on the spot. So I knew there was a disconnect somewhere and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I quickly started learning that people didn't think that facials were worth the time. They could do it at home. This was just a special occasion, all the rebuttals that you could possibly think of. And then that's what started getting me down I need to niche. I need to figure out who I want to work on so that I can figure out what that rebuttal is and deal with that. But it took a very long time to get to that process, get to that place. Then I got really sick and almost died.
Oh, no.
Yes. I had a pancreatic attack. Prior to that, I was working alongside another esthetician. We rented space.
And when was this? When did you have the pancreatic attack?
So I had the pancreatic attack in 21.
Okay.
In late August of 21, I had the pancreatic attack. At that time, I was still doing an average of about 10 to 15 massages a week and about 5 to 6 facials a week. I was surviving, but I still was not in the place that I heard everybody else talking about on Facebook, which was being a 6-figure esthetician. Like, I thought that was what, that was the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't figure it out. Well, in the midst of not being able to figure it out, I got sick, had the pancreatic attack, almost died. And when I was, I guess, my 12th day in the hospital, they finally allowed me the opportunity to eat. And they brought me a lot of high sugar foods. And they said that I had gallstones and that the gallstones were caused by a high fat diet. And I told them, I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm also not a doctor, but I can't understand why, if I can't have fat, why is it okay to have sugar? I just didn't understand what the correlation was. And that's when I figured out that fat's our main energy source. And when it doesn't have enough fat, it reverts to sugar. And so they were like, basically what's going to happen from this point forward is you're eventually going to be a diabetic. In the meantime, you also no longer have an organ, but don't worry about that organ. It's not that important. So then I was like, well, what else can I eat? And they really didn't have any advice for me. So when I got
in that time, so
yeah,
so you're in the hospital for 12 days.
I'm in the hospital for close to 20 days.
Okay, so close to 20 days.
Yeah.
What was going on with your business at that time? Because you had that business, right?
So that's absolutely really interesting, because in that period of time, what I did was I wrote a text in my notes. And because I'm delirious, I'm on every painkiller known to man. I barely spit out a note. I hand it to my husband and I say, go into my square and send this to every single one of my clients, but make sure it makes sense.
Make the gibberish make sense.
Just whatever it says, just say honey is not available at the moment. And he had square as well. He's a barber, so he knew how to work it. So I was like, just do it. At that same time, before I got sick, my city participates in awards for the best local business. And I had sent out the emails, the text messages, posted on Facebook, please vote for me as the top day spa in Louisville, yada, 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 right? At that point in time, I'm not thinking any more about it. I've moved on from that. I'm in the hospital. My husband sent out the text messages. I'm thinking that when they release me from the hospital, I'm just going to go back to work. So I think I got out of the hospital on Thursday. I went to work on Friday.
Oh, wow.
The problem with that was I was not in the position to go to work. And my client actually sent me home. And she grabbed my phone and texted the rest of the clients that I had and was like, Honey is not functional. So I guess I stayed off of work for about another week and just slowly started pulling myself together. But that was a slow journey because I didn't just start the healing journey when I got out. I had to heal. I had to have an organ removed. I had to heal again. Then I had to go back for another surgery. That surgery sent me into vertigo, and I was out the rest of the month of December. So from the end of August till January of 2022, I was out.
Wow. And you know what? That's wild. Not just what happened to you, but to be out of your own business for that long, right? And that's one of the reasons that your story to me is so remarkable, is to be able to go through all of that and now being, that six-figure status, which is awesome. So once things finally got back to normal, whatever that means,
Right.
and then you're able to get things going again. How was your business? What did you notice? What was it like at that point?
What I noticed was that when I did come back, everybody was extremely supportive. I actually won the top third day spa award in Louisville, despite me being.
While being in the hospital.
My girlfriend texted me and was like, "Congratulations." I was like, "For what?" And she was like, "You won." And I was like, "Won what?" So that was amazing. That, I think that was the push. That was the hug that I needed to get me back in the game. I just needed someone to pat me on my back and said, "We see you." And that did it. And so at that point, I am addicted to being curious. So I'm always looking for the next book. I'm always looking for the next piece of information. I'm learning from marketing coaches. I'm trying to gain insight and information from everybody. So during that period of time, that's what I was doing. And that was when I reached out to you, and, and everything that you said was so completely opposite of what I was used to. I was like, I don't think this is going to work with.
Yeah, you know what? And just for everybody to know, Honey and I were talking a while ago, and this was, I think, back in 22, right? This was a couple years ago.
Yes.
And I started, we were working on a couple of things. It was like a different website and different things I was having you do. And Honey and I were like this, right? It was literally like this, to the point. It's like, hey, this is probably not a good fit right now. And then, just keep in touch, and we'll see how things go, right? And
Exactly.
that's just how things are,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
so that's what got me motivated, was our butting of the heads got me motivated as to, if I feel like Wick's way is not the way, then what way is the way? And the more I started learning and the more I started saying, what type of customer service experience am I providing? Who is my niche client? Who am I trying to work on? So when I really started focusing in on who, the what, the why, the experience, the moment they book with me to after they leave, to the follow-up, everything, I made sure that I honed in on that so flawlessly that it was just a well-oiled machine. It was my routine. It was just how I did what I did. Then I was like, okay, the customer experience is nailed down. What's next? What's next was the client. And because of my health situation, prior to that, I did not want to get anywhere near an acne client. To me, an acne client was a client who was probably going to leave you the worst review on Google. because you didn't fix their acne. I didn't want any part of it. But as I started dealing with my health and learning my diet, all of the symptoms, all of the things that I was going through, all of the things that I needed to fix, everything pointed back to pigment and acne. And I was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me everything that I'm doing for myself helps an acne client? Helps my pigment clients? Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that it's not the skincare product realistically, it's the diet in conjunction with the skincare and the facials and the treatments, which is why a lot of people aren't getting the results that they need to get. Is I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Is because the diet isn't where it needed to be. And so then I was like, that's your client, acne. And so then I was like, all right, I'm going to give this skincare line another try. And if it doesn't come through the way that I need it to come through, I'm going elsewhere. And I went elsewhere. As I was going elsewhere, I needed to have reasoning. Oh my gosh. I needed to have a reason why I was making a change. And so I told myself, if I need to be selling X amount of retail per month, how much retail do I need to sell? And the line that I was with, I had to sell a shit ton of, excuse me for cussing, but I had to sell a whole lot of that retail to get to my end number.
Mm-hmm.
At my ideal client
number, like what was your goal? Like when you're talking about selling retail, roughly how much were you looking to sell?
My goal is to be at 10,000 to 12,000 in retail a month, because I also have another goal of not having my hands on as many people, right? Like our goal is to work smarter, not harder. If I'm looking for a retirement plan, that means I don't want my hands on as many people. It means I need to sell more product. How do I sell more product? And that was when I was like, well, your product needs to be more expensive. That's an easy way to double your sales. I'm worried about selling a $10 cleanser when I should be selling a $40 cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy way to do it. My ideal client, I'm solving a problem. They're either going to be on board if they want to be my client, or they're not.
Right.
You have to.
And the sooner you find out about that,
Yes,
the better, because at some point, and I truly believe a lot of estheticians are so scared about selling that or selling a premium item. And you have to understand that if they're not willing to invest in that, then they're probably not that serious about it. They're going to be the Amazon shoppers, the CVS, the Sephora gals, the Target sales and things of that sort, right? So the sooner you're able to separate those and go, okay, is this person committed or not? Because like you mentioned, honey, your time is valuable.
yes,
right? Your time is valuable. You only have so much, and it's better to charge more for a few people that are willing to pay that price, as opposed to working on a ton of people that are tire kickers and want the cheapest deal. Because and correct me if I'm wrong, but the people that spend the most typically complain the least.
correct.
And the ones that are spending the least amount are the ones that complain the most, because they want every penny of that they spend out of it. And they also want the miracle as well.
Right, right. And so then that's when I had to learn. There's a gentleman that I watch who is actually he's still a preacher, but he applies the Bible to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started listening to him, he was like, look, you have to become a better customer, because the reason why you're having the problems is because in your head, you think if an item is too expensive for you, you're automatically assuming that that client is going to think that that product is too expensive because you think it's too expensive. And so when I got myself out of the mind frame of basically, why am I counting my clients' pockets? Number one, I don't know what they have. I don't know what they think is expensive. I'm going in with my perception. So I also had to work on my money mindset. I had to say, if a person is committed to something, they will invest because you are solving a problem. And when you provide value of solving a problem, what they define that's worth is on them. I'm going to tell you how much it's worth to me. And if that's what you're willing to invest, then we can do business.
Yep. There, you know what? And the how you just said that, honey, it's not your words that really mattered, but I felt your conviction,
Yes,
right? And to me, that is the most critical part is when you're saying that, because we live in a world where we watch a million commercials a day, 1,000 ads on social media. Everyone's trying to sell something. But when you're able to recommend a product, a solution that helps treat a problem such as acne, and you're able to do it with that conviction, that's what sells, because it's not always the words that we say, but the weight of the weight behind those words, right?
absolutely. The passion behind it. You
Yeah.
have to absolutely believe. And that's where changing your money mindset plays into that too. Because when you start changing your money mindset and you realize that this is now what you believe, and I know that I'm providing value that we're both worthy of exchanging value for, you might not believe it's worth it. I know it's worth it. And so here's what it's worth to me.
So how did you get your mind to make
Mhm.
that shift? What was your process like?
So it's funny you should mention that because I had made a vision board that same a few months after you and I had worked together. I made a vision board and
Mhm.
I put my monthly number that I wanted on there. And I put a bunch of other stuff. And for every time I looked at the vision board, I was just like, there was something in the back of my mind that was like, I don't know how we're gonna get, I don't know how we're gonna do this. How are we gonna. And so a few months after, I decided the things that were on the vision board were sort of coming to fruition and sort of not. So then I said, you know what? I want you to go get the most expensive perfume that you can absolutely get. And I want you to say this one thing to yourself to make myself get into a routine to start to believe it. Well, of course, I was still working on my money mindset and I couldn't justify buying expensive perfume. So I got the sample.
Mhm.
But every time I sprayed the sample on, I pretended that it was the big bottle. And every time I sprayed it on, I said, "You are a rich bitch and you deserve luxurious shit."
Yes.
And ironically, 2 weeks later, I was supposed to be saving for this, supposed to be saving for that, supposed to be saving for that. I had saved for everything, and I had enough money to actually buy 3 of those bottles. And
So
I
so
don't.
just so real quickly, at that time, so before
Mhm,
your money mindset was a little bit changed, roughly
yes.
what was how was your business at that point? Roughly how much were you doing a month?
I would say I was right at probably 6 to 7,000 a month.
And that's a mixture of massage as well, correct? The massage that you're trying to get out of?
Yes. And,
Yeah.
and less of the massage because after I got sick, I pretty much just said, I'm gonna have to rip the band-aid off and hope for the best.
Okay.
You're either all in or you're all out, but you can't be halfway in between both of them. If you want to quit, you need to tell the universe that you're ready to quit this. Let the universe know that what you want is more facial clients. And the only way you can do that is through your actions.
Right. And everybody listening to that, that's one of the, I want you to pay attention to that part. It's what I call addition by subtraction. So many times we feel like, okay, I need to do rosacea, I need to do anti-aging, I need to do massage, I need to do waxing, I need to do tooth gems. I see that stuff every now and then, right? So it's
Yeah.
there's just so much on the table, and you have to understand a business can be each of those things. You can have an entire business of just waxing, you can have an entire business of just acne, you can have an entire business just of fine line wrinkles, etc. So when you have too much going on at some point, like what Honey just said, you have to believe in yourself enough to commit to one, so you add more by subtracting the part that sometimes we still try to hold on to it. And what's that saying? You can't get to second base if you're still holding on to first.
And
Right?
fear-based thinking.
Yes. Okay.
Fear-based thinking. And that's where I realized my money mindset was coming from, was from a fear-based thinking. When you fear what's next, when you fear I might not be able to, when you fear that the person's going to reject you, when you fear that you don't have the clients that are going to want this service, well, you're telling the universe that you don't. If you think you can't, you won't.
Yeah.
And so that was the premise that I started working on when I started working on my money mindset. And so one day I had to go on a field trip for my granddaughter was in Cincinnati. And after that, Cincinnati has this really affluent area called Hyde Park. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's time to do something special for yourself. So I went to Hyde Park and I wanted to experience the sales journey in an affluent area. And so I went to 3 different stores and I experienced the customer journey there and I took notes. And then I went to and just proceeded. And then the last store I went to, that woman made me feel like $1 million, like I deserved everything that I wanted. That she made me feel like I could just say, throw it in the bag. Just throw it in the bag. I don't even care about the price. And that stuck with me.
So what did she do? You know, like in this journey, what are some of the things that you picked out? Because this is really good stuff. And the reason why is I have a saying that we know what we know. We learn by looking and learning from others. So the fact that you went to do this, you're basically, it's kind of like being in school. You're going out and doing research on your project to figure out what's going to work for you. And it's awesome. This is like some of the best homework that you can do, because this is for your future. You're picking the brains of other experts, because I'll tell you this: if you go to a nice store, a quality store of people selling, you know, tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, you know, their presentation, the way they present and what they do, you know, might be a little bit different, right? So what are some of the things, some of the notes that you took that you learned from your journey there?
So one of the things that I noticed in one of the stores that I went into, the young lady there made me feel as if I didn't belong. And so I took note that it could be the way that I was dressed. I was dressed just to go to a choir concert for my granddaughter. So, you know, I just went in casual wear. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that had something to do with it. But again, that's where she made the mistake of counting my pockets, because I had 2 credit cards with completely free limits and I could have bought whatever I wanted. But you evidently counted my pockets based on what I was wearing. Mistake number 1. So I was like, duly noted. The second store that I went into, the young lady there, she made me feel extremely comfortable. She was a lot younger than I was. I'm 50. She was like 19. But she had really great conversation, and she just failed at closing. She was like, oh yeah, that's a really great shirt. It's so cute, and normal conversation, but she never closed the sale.
Yes.
You know, it was kind of like, well, you know, I'm just going to let you take a look. No, honey, you're supposed to close the sale.
So it sounds like if she could have been better or tried to close it, you were closable.
Oh, heck yeah. I'd have bought just because I liked her.
And real quick, excuse me, and real quick for y'all listening, right? Keep that in mind. A lot of people are very closable. If they just wanted your service right off the bat, because I'll read these messages and I just want to stab myself in the eye with a pencil, right? They're like, well, if they want to sign up for my business or they want the service, they'll just sign up on my website. And I'm like, okay, if that's what everyone was gonna do, just go to your website and just sign up, then we don't really need you to do much more except just a service. But a lot of people, they are closable, but are you closing? They're interested, they're right there, they're teetering. they're either teetering. If you do nothing, they're going to teeter away, or you can
Mhm.
teeter them towards you,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
So that was a closable opportunity. Okay.
Absolutely closable. And so then the next store that I walked into, this was the store where she just made me feel like I had 10 credit cards with no limits. Like I had 10 black cards from Amex. And so basically, as soon as I walked in the door, she greeted me and asked me how my day was going. Was I enjoying the day? It was a beautiful day outside, yada yada. The small talk, right? And here's where consumers make this mistake, and where those consumers who are business owners make the mistake in their business. The moment she asked me, was there anything that she could help me find? Most people instinctually say automatically,
No,
no, thank you. I'm just looking.
just looking. Yep.
You're looking for something. Tell her what you're looking for. Because the minute your client says, no, I'm just looking, what are you going to do? You're going to walk away, because that's what you do when you're in the store. And so I immediately said, I'm actually looking for a linen shirt because my husband and I are going to Destin and we need to have linen shirts. And she's like, oh, those are actually right over here. And she maintained the contact. And this is the other part where I think some people begin to feel awkward in shopping situations. Instead of her sitting over me and hawking me, as some people do, she walked away. But when she walked away, she picked up another item that would go good with my linen shirt.
Right.
I already told her what I wanted. I could find out on my own. But did you see this? Let me show you this. Because if you're trying to look nice on your vacation, you surely to God want this cute bracelet or this cute handbag, right? And when she had seen the color shirts that I was looking at, she matched the bracelet and the handbag to match the shirt, so that I wouldn't immediately say, no, that doesn't go. No, it went off. She knew what she was doing. I'm going to ensemble a whole outfit for you. And so then after that, I walked around and she said, so after you guys get back from Destin, what type of plans do you? She was really engaging. She wanted to get to know me and who I was. And so then I told her, I'm a solo business owner. I own a facial spa in Louisville, Kentucky, yada, yada, yada. And she was like, oh my God, well, can I follow you on Instagram? Absolutely, you can.
Yes.
Yes. And so she just made the entire experience feel like she heard me. She thought about me. She thought about what my next question might be. And if that wasn't my question, she made sure it was a question. Like, well, what goes with this shirt? What do you think will go good with this? What do you think? She was already thinking 2 to 3 steps ahead, but also making it a human experience for me.
Right. And so so when we look at, for example, the client experience, right? Like, one thing I believe an esthetician has a huge advantage over their clients in terms of knowing what their next question is, what else they need, what else can they expect when they get home, this. And that's something I think you mentioned before, is you're working on the client journey, the entire experience. So the fact that you already know a lot of this stuff, it just makes you look like a more of a professional if you help them with this, meaning this is what they're going to need for their home care. This is how to use this. This is what you're going to be going on vacation. Okay. You need this SPF as well, right? Because the more you know about your client, the more you can look at ways of how your products and your services can help that client, right?
Right. Right.
And it sounds like she did a great job with this. So one thing that you mentioned before is you were working on the client experience.
Yes.
So from walking into this and this and this and this and this, right? Because I truly believe that is such a critical part that a lot of people are overlooking. So for me, and I'm not saying a lot of estheticians do this, but I feel there's some it's more of a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, please rebook.
Yeah.
Right. And so what are some of the tweaks or changes that you made? You know, walk us through your client experience through from beginning to end, more or less.
So I decided that my client experience would start from the moment that they booked, because most of my clients were coming off of Google. And so until they walked into the door, we were complete strangers with each other. And for me, when I'm in that situation, that's very unnerving for me. And so I considered that it may also be unnerving for someone else as well. What's also extremely unnerving for myself is I hate feeling lost. I hate trying to find a new place for the first time. I don't know what the parking's like. Am I going to have to pay for parking? Where do I go? What floor is it on? What, I don't see your door number. All of those things are things that will get me to like not show up or to show up with a bad attitude. Because it took me forever to get here. Like the directions need to be simpler. So what I did was I got on Canva and I found a graphic that had like multiple pages to it. And I just started plugging in information of, at that time I was Amore Skincare and Beauty. I was like, welcome to Amore Skincare and Beauty. And on the front of it, I had the front of my business. On the next page, I listed the address. On the address, I had a picture of the entire building. I also said the building is located at the corner of this major intersection and this major intersection, because I can't assume that you know where this and this is at. But if
Mhm.
you're new here, it's at the corner of here and here. I also let them know what was the best entrance of that building to take. If you take the east side of the building and you just walk straight in the door, I'm on your right. If you come in on the west side of the building, you're going to have to walk all the way through the lobby and then I'm on your left. You know, so I made sure that they knew before they even got the reminder text about their appointment that they already knew where they were going.
Nice.
Then the second part of that was in that little booklet, I included their consultation form. And then in that consultation form, then I was prepared and didn't have to spend 30 minutes getting to learn someone. Now I'm prepared for when you walk in the door. Now we can sort of be really comfortable with each other and get past the awkwardness. Oh, I'm 10 minutes late because I couldn't find it. We don't have to do any of that. You knew where you were going. I knew who I'm about to work on. And so then they get the reminder text, they get the reminder emails. I would check in with them the day before, and in the reminder text, I put in there, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns before your appointment, please feel free to reach out to me here. So
Mhm.
I made sure that they knew how to reach me. In that little booklet, I also included what to expect in the facial. I also let them know what they needed to stop before the facial. So basically, I eliminated any opportunity where that facial was not going to happen.
Good.
So once they walked in the door, it's a done deal. I know I'm providing a service. You know you couldn't get this service unless you stop this. Did you? So I check in to make sure. Did you follow the directions? Great. Then it's at that point my job, because on the first facial, every esthetician knows on the first facial, you're not doing anything miraculous to change their skin dramatically. This is your opportunity to provide a true luxury experience that will make them stop and say, that was the best facial I ever had. In the meantime, it's also your opportunity to figure out something about that client that you will never forget. If you want them to never forget you, then you need to know something that you will never forget them.
So
Once we,
how do you get that? How do you get that information?
oh,
Because
so that's easy.
yeah, so
So
go for it, go.
I used to sell cars at Acura. And so my sales trainer was very adamant in making sure that we had something specific about that person. And one of the things that they used to do was the first 3 digits of the telephone number would generally tell you what part of town that person was from. And so
Mhm.
you would pick something about that part of town and you would say, oh, 774, isn't that over there where the Milky Way baseball league is at? Yeah, my grandson used to play for the Milky Way League. something. Find something. But in this day and age, you don't have that.
All right.
So what I would do is when I went through the consultation form before they came in, I would look for clues. What prescriptions were they taking? What do those prescriptions treat? Because that only makes me better as an esthetician anyway. I would find out that, you know, the best time of day for them to have an appointment or a telephone call was after 4 p.m. Okay, well, why? They're probably working. Where do you work? Or it's because I have kids, or because I do this, or because I do. So I would just find something that said, oh, the reason you can't come in for your appointments until after 4 p.m. is you actually pick your grandchildren up from school because their mother is yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
So then when they would come in for their appointment after 4 p.m. on that next appointment, I would say, how's your granddaughter doing? Is she still enjoying you coming to pick her up, or is she tired of you yet? Yeah.
So how do you remember that? Do you take notes
Heck
about?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody, this is important, right? And this is why before, when I used to work for a company, we used to have something called the second page. And what the second page was, basically, the first page was just the client's contact info, you know, name, number, email, yada, yada, address, all that stuff. The second page was all the things that we could find out about them. You know, do they have kids? Are they married? You know, hobbies, right? Any of those kind of things. What else are they into? And we would write all this stuff down, because I learned I could not trust my memory. It's like, you might say, oh, I'll remember. But after you deal with a couple hundred clients, and this one starts bleeding in with this one, was this the one with the 4 kids? Is this the one that's got grandkids after 4 p.m. or what have you? Right. But write this down all in a file or whatever format that works best. And before the client comes in, just review it real quickly. So you know what's up. And that person, these small things are actually really big things. Because the goal is, again, giving that person an experience. And one way to give a client a good experience is to care about them, to remember things that are important to them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as that evolution started happening where I was able to learn more about the clients, then so did my consultation form. So then my consultation form was almost like a private investigator form, where really the question was really just to find out about you, so that when you came in, I could pivot off of that and create that instant connection when you walked in the door. So instead of us being like, oh, okay, where do you work? What do you do? Da, 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 as part of the consultation experience when they walked in, then when they walked in, I could say, oh, okay, so you just ran a 4K over at yada, yada, yada. How did that go for you? Did you win? Were those people crazy? You know, I love humor. So as much as the client is picking me, I'm picking you too, because this is my business. And at the end of the day, I do have the right to service who I want to. And so if we're a good fit, we're a good fit. And how I find out if people are good fits for me is a sense of humor. Because if they don't have a sense of humor, it tells me one or two things. We're probably not a good fit, and we're not going to understand each other. And so everything I say will sound like gibberish, or you are in pain. Something is hurting you. And whatever that thing is, and that's my massage therapist brain coming through, because people who are in pain act different. And so then that's when I could start diving in a little bit deeper. But for those who are not dual licensed, that's not your thing. But I was able to critique my own clients and see if they were good fits for me. And immediately, if I felt like a person was not a good fit for my business, I just simply didn't go in for the rebook.
Yeah. Right. And remember, y'all, this is your business. This is your baby. This is your home. This is where you spend the time. And there are enough people out there that will value you. And like exactly what you said, honey, like-minded people that just jive better together. Then having to be in that position of desperation, I guess you could say, where you're willing to take everybody, and sometimes energies just don't mix, right?
Nope.
And it's hard for both parties to really appreciate. And to me, I believe, I'm just setting myself up for failure, for a bad review, because just because energies don't mix and this person wasn't happy for whatever reason, you could have done everything right. It had nothing to do with you. But they'll say,
Nope.
oh, I went in there, I just didn't like the vibe and this and this. And one bad review, such like that, will, they'll take you freaking forever to get one good review. And one bad review will drive away 50 potential clients. It's just not worth it, right? So
Absolutely.
one thing that you said, honey, is that uh you create like a luxury experience. So how did you make it more luxurious? So we got the customer service side, how you're getting to
Yep.
know them,
Yep.
you're vibing, you're feeling that, oh, I like this person. How did
Yep.
you make that experience more luxurious?
Okay, so that's actually really fun for me, because I also love being a host.
Mhm.
So I jumped on Amazon and I found a provider who gives you the napkins, the monogram with your logo on it. And so, of course, at this period of time, I don't know all of the options that are available out there. I just instantly go to Amazon for everything. It's easy, right? So I jump on Amazon and they have napkins. So I could put Amore Skincare and Beauty on the napkin. And I was like, okay, well, then I need to have these perfect little cups. And these perfect little cups need to have a really great drink in it. Amore Skincare and Beauty needs to have a signature drink.
Mhm.
And so then it went from the signature drink to I needed a little mini snack bar that reflected the changes that I said that they needed to make as part of their diet to treat this acne, pigment, yada, yada, yada. Because if they see it, and
Yeah.
I'm automatically giving it to them, and they walk out with it and they eat it and they say, oh, that wasn't so bad after all. Now I'm like, okay, well, honey's onto something. So I made a signature drink. I made the cute little napkins so that when they came in, they had the perfect experience. They had their drink waiting with them. My logo is tattooed in their brain because it's on their napkin. Then they had the little snack bar. And then on my consultation form, I asked them what type of music do they prefer listening to. So their music is already playing when they walk in the treatment room. It's ready to go. My treatment table, I have to say, not many estheticians know this, but coming from a massage therapist perspective, I learned very early on you have two tools as a massage therapist. You have your hands and you have your table. And I learned very early on that if that table is not hidden, that table is not hidden. So I already had a really luxurious, highly plush massage table. So then I just did a little bit more extra layering, made sure that it was heated, made sure it just had a very luxurious feel, which most estheticians have that part down pat. Also, cleanliness. I went to go get a facial and a massage at a spa where I could see the dust hanging off the curtains. And I made sure that I connected with the owner after the fact and let her know, hey, when your client is staring up at the ceiling and the only thing that they can look at is the cobwebs hanging off of the curtains, that's not a good vibe.
You know what? And that's a great tip right there. So all y'all statisticians listening to this, when was the last time you laid on your own table,
Yes,
right? And look
yes.
around and go, okay, what are my clients looking at?
Yes. And that's what I did. So I made sure that no matter what direction they were looking in, there was something aesthetically pleasing to look at. I made sure that I touched the eyes. I made sure that I touched on the nose. I made sure that I touched on, so fabric, sense of smell, visual appeal. I touched on every single sense that was available to me, and then I provided a service that they came for. So they're already TLC'd up.
Yeah.
There's nothing more that they could ask for. They got their drink in their hand, everything is where the vibe is going. They're basically ready to go to the club. And then they lay down on this heated table with these magnificent covers on it, and they snuggle in to experience the facial.
The facial?
The facial. And then that's where, at this point, if I got you, at this point, you're done. You're mine, because I do give a really good massage. That is one thing that I have always been amazing at, is a massage, because that's what they think a facial is. And that's what I learned in school. That's what I didn't connect with my instructors, because I was like, what does massage got to do with it? You're supposed to be fixing people's skin. And they were like, just wait. When I got past the part of not wanting to give people massages anymore, and realized that the massage portion of the facial is the part where you're going to win them or lose them. That is where you will win them or lose them. And you got to know what they're wanting from that experience. So the other part of my consultation form said, when was your last facial? What did you love about that facial? What did you want from that facial? What did you not get from that facial? And it'll say, the therapist talked too much. The therapist tried to sell me too many products. The therapist didn't give a good massage. Like, I give them full opportunity to be completely honest with me. That way, when you walk in my door, I already know that what you expected from your last facial was a really great massage. Hold my drink. I already know what to do when they walk in the door, because you've told me everything you wanted.
So everybody, are you doing this? So this is the genius that I'm getting from Honey. Ask your clients what they want and deliver that to them, and then some. Right? Because you have the opportunity. What did they like? What did they not like? What do they wish it was different?
Yep.
So instead of us trying to be psychic and trying to figure it out ourselves, if we just do that, because Honey, one thing that I'm hearing that I'm just loving is you're making everything about the client, from the music, right? The ambiance, and the conversation, right? So, and you know what's funny? I hope as you're all listening to this, you can feel, because I can feel it. I can feel Honey's confidence. And it's easier to feel more confident when you know you're just delivering them everything and then some.
Yep.
And a drink,
Yep.
right? It's
Yep.
like,
right. Right. Because as women, I feel like the one thing we always say all the time to, like, whoever we're in a relationship with or whoever we're dealing with is, just tell me what you want.
yeah.
And that's what I do on my consultation. Just tell me what you want. You are paying me money, good money, to provide you an experience. What kind of experience do you want? I got no problem giving it to you, and some, but I just need to know what you want. So
Honey, real quick, just to play devil's advocate, because I
yeah,
know some people are out there, and again, I just want to stab my ears with a pencil when I hear it. It's like,
okay.
oh my God, that just sounds like so much work. That sounds like work. You mean I gotta do all this, and I gotta pay more attention, and I gotta write down notes, I gotta ask them more questions? That just sounds like work. You know, what would you say to someone that says that?
They're not ready. They're not ready. The only thing that's going to make you ready with that type of mindset is being sick of yourself not getting what it is that you think you want, but you didn't put in the work to get it.
Yes.
You got to put in the work.
You got to put in the work to get the reward. You know what? Everybody wants the reward. Everybody wants the six-figure esthetician. Everybody wants the results. But when it gets time to put in the work, you know, what did it say? Every action there's a reaction, right? So you
Right.
can't be like, okay, I want all of this, but I don't want to do all of that.
Right, right. And so when I really broke it down into what are the bigger med spas doing that I'm not doing? Because when I won the first year, I was in the top third. I looked who was ahead of me.
Mhm.
One was a hair salon. I don't even know how they got in the bracket. And then the other one was a really prominent med spa. And I started thinking about it and I was like, what is the med spa doing that I'm not doing? And I was like, they have people to facilitate every next step of the process.
Mhm.
Kind of like at home. At home, you want hotel quality linen. You want your bed to look like it does when you're at the hotel. When you go to the hotel or you go on vacation, you're like, gosh, I wish my house was like this all the time. Well, who do you think got the hotel to look like that? The maids, everybody else. Well, guess what you have to be? You have to be the maid
Yep.
because who else is going to do it? And so when I looked at the med spa and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I have to be the greeter because I'm not hiring a greeter. Well, I guess I have to have a front desk receptionist. I guess I have to be the front because I'm not hiring a front desk receptionist. All of these things that I wanted to provide, I was not going to hire someone to do. I had to do it. Because if I want to give you top med spa experience, I have to give you top med spa experience because there's no one else here going to do it.
Well, welcome to being a business owner, right? So because I think a lot of estheticians, they just like, oh, okay, I just want to work on the skin, right? I just want to do the facial. I just, I'm really good at doing the facial. Well, you should probably work for somebody else then,
Yeah.
because being a solo business owner, if you do not have the money to pay a marketer, pay the front desk, pay the greeter, pay the person to follow up, right? If you don't have those things, because believe me, those people, especially a good one, is expensive,
Mhm.
right? If you don't have that and you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to do the marketing, right, the social media or what have you, if you're not willing to do all that and you can't afford to pay somebody else, then it's probably not the best idea to start your own business. Just
Agreed.
throwing it out there, just throwing it out there because it is work. It's not just, oh, clients are going to come in, I'm going to do a facial, and then I'm going to go out for my latte, and then I'm going to come back, I'm going to handle some more clients, and then I'm going to call it a day and Instagram, here I am,
Mhm.
happy
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
It's not always quite like that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So in terms of like marketing and how you got here, what are some of the things that you did to get clients? Like, where do a lot of your clients come from? Whether it's through just referral systems or you reaching out or you doing social media. What's that process look like?
So it first began as a massage therapist when I started doing Groupon. And I knew that Groupon was not paying me what I needed to be paid to provide a massage. But I knew I just needed what they could give.
Mhm.
And so I was like, how can I turn this into something good for me that will grow? And so that's what my book talks about is, okay, you got a client sitting in front of you. They only paid $30 to sit on your table or lie down on your table, knowing it was supposed to be $100. But realistically, at the end of the day, that $100 is 50 on the rent, 10 on the products, da 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 da. Like it's broken down into all these little pieces. And how much are you really truly paying yourself? Okay, take all the rest of that aside and figure out how you can grow this into someone who's going to pay the $100.
Mhm.
So I made virtually every single Groupon client either leave a review on Groupon so that I could get more Groupons because the more Groupons you sold, the higher you could raise the price. Um, so the more reviews I got on Groupon, the more I could raise the price, the more of a cut that I would get. But then I turned around and I asked those same people if they came in for a second massage, could you please now leave me a review on Google?
Mhm.
So then once I got the reviews on Google up, then that's when I realized that's actually really powerful in getting you people who are willing to pay the money.
Right.
So then that's when I started learning about SEO. And so that's where, like, and not to say anything to all the people who are on the Gloss Genius thing, and I've been out of the loop for a while because I'm a diehard Square fan, but Square provided the website. Square provided the website where I could say, okay, what words are people searching for? Those are the words that need to be on my website. Those are the words that need to be tagged to my pictures. And the more words and the more things that I can say to prove that I'm an expert in this, the more my Google listing shows up and the more that listing will actually show up in the map pack because I have the reviews. Google only cares about one thing: providing the person searching on Google the best result.
Mm-hmm.
You need to look at your business as the best result for whatever they're searching for. So if you want to be an acne specialist and the person is on Google and they're searching for an acne specialist in Louisville, you need your page, your whatever, to prove to Google that you are an acne specialist. And so when I started learning how to do SEO, then I was like, and then I learned that your social media was connected to, like, it's all connected and they all serve as like a leg on a chair. And so the social media was connected to the Google because you can post to your social media from Google as a business owner. So when I started learning all of these different and the pictures, so when you're building your website and you throw in a picture in that spot, what does that picture say? So like the alt text. So when I started learning the nitty gritty of like what goes on in a website, I was like, oh, oh, okay, bet. So I love being challenged and I'm a hustler at heart. I'm like, give me a challenge and I'm in it to win it. So when I started building the website, then I started leaning on the fact that I really didn't need social media that much because I was getting the business from Google. But that's where I made my mistake. Despite that, I didn't realize that because all of my regulars, every new client that walked in the door became a regular.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I got so busy, I didn't realize that I wasn't getting new clients, but it wasn't a problem because my regulars kept coming back and they were buying products and they were getting the services and I was doing everything I needed to do. I got lost in the sauce and didn't realize I wasn't getting new clients. But that was because I had let the leg of social media fall.
Yeah.
Once you let the leg of social media fall, it takes forever to get that leg to stand on its own again. But I have hired someone because I'm not in that broke mindset. I deserve an expert who's going to represent my business the way it deserves to be represented. And if that costs me an extra 5 appointments a month, then she's probably going to bring me 20. So I'm keeping 15. That's a deal.
That, you know what, all day long, if you can spend $1 and make 5, right? I will take that deal all day long. But more importantly, it's great to be in that position to be able to do that.
Right,
Because, like you said, social media, it's important. It's one of the legs of the chairs, right?
right.
When you look at all of it, I think that's a wonderful analogy. It
Yeah.
it is important because it keeps people in the know. People, know what's going on. You can promote deals and give tips and tricks and
Right.
ideas, and the weather is changing. What should you do about this, that, or the other? What things make acne worse? It's just stuff. It's stuff you put out there.
Well, and so the gentleman that I was listening to, the preacher who talks about the marketing, he basically put it in respect of if you want to earn loyalty, you have to give people a reason to be loyal to you from the get-go. And people are only loyal to the people that they know, like, and trust.
Yes.
Social media is the place where you grow, like, and trust. And if you're not giving the freebies, then give them a reason to like you. First of all, oh, she's giving away something. Oh, she's giving away something valuable. And she's funny, or she's charismatic, or she's straight to the point, or whatever your ideal client is. That's who you need to be talking to. Right. And so now I want to follow you because I like you and I trust you. And I'm ready to see what you're going to say next. Then you just gotta build. People just have to like you. Not everybody's gonna like you. And once you learn that and
Yeah.
decide you're only gonna talk to the people who you want in front of you, business will be so much easier. Because
That's
then you don't have to give so much effort.
Yep. Because when people and again, those three words, I swear I've said like a million times. The goal of business is to get people to know you, like you, trust you.
Yes.
Because
Hey
we
Siri, turn on
people
do
like
not disturb.
do not disturb. Because we as people, we have our guards up, right? But the
Okay.
more I know you, and that's one thing social media is just wonderful at. They see your content again and again and again and again. They saw a meme that made them laugh, or this or that, or a tip or idea. The more I get to, the more I'm in your space and in your mind and in your social media and stuff like that, I'm slowly putting my guard down.
Yeah.
And then that way I already feel like I'm like, oh honey, I've seen your stuff a million times. I feel like I already know you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
makes business easier to go down that path for except the people that are posting all the time saying, hey, facial 50% off today, or this or this, or just doing salesy shit. Right.
Yeah.
I hate salesy shit. I'm not saying you don't put it out there from time to time, but you give them a bunch of like fun things, something that you saw, something funny, some local event, some kid thing, something that's going on in your town that people will that know about or appreciate, and
Yes.
throw an offer out there from time to time.
Right. And that also goes back to one of the things that you taught me. You taught me to drain the swamp.
What
And
was that?
and at first I was like, oh, I can't do that to my social media followers. I can't do that. But then when I started thinking and I started learning more about how everything works, if you only had 5 people that followed you, but 4 of those people liked, comment, shared, did whatever, your stuff shoots through the moon in the
Yeah.
algorithm. If
So
you
here,
have
what is drain the swamp for those that don't know?
drain the swamp, basically means if people are not engaging, I don't care who they are, it could be your grandmother. If she is not engaging with your content, you need to drain the swamp.
Yeah, and so to summarize that, one of the things I tell people to do is use Facebook, your personal Facebook page, to also put your business stuff, to almost make it a business page. Because a lot of us will have our high school friends, some old
Mhm,
people, some
mhm,
relatives way out
mhm.
there. And what I tell people, I'm like, okay, drain the swamp unless they are a potential client
Yep.
or a supporter of your business,
Mhm.
unfriend them.
Yep.
Because people will have 1,800 friends on their Facebook personal page. And out of that, they'll have like one or two comments. And I'm like, no, because what you can do is use those friends as potential clients or
Mhm,
supporters. And
mhm.
and so I remember I told you to do that, just like a lot of people, and people just hate me. Like, Nick, but I have, 1,600 friends here. I'm like, how many of those are potential clients? Because you know what? And it goes back to, honey, what you do to get to know your clients better, so you know how to communicate them when they come in, or even when they're out and about. I'd rather have my client as a friend so I can see that my client's grandson just had his softball game, And so next time the client comes in and go, hey, I saw, John at the softball thing, and that was awesome. How did he do?
Yeah,
Because I want to
absolutely.
be in their world. I can, don't get me wrong, I love my family, friends are great, but I'm trying to make money here.
Yeah.
So I want to be in my client's world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
So yeah,
Yeah.
cool. That,
Yep.
that's that's great. So what else? What are some other tips, tricks, or ideas that have helped you become a six-figure esthetician? What else have you implemented or mind shift that you had to make to get to this point?
Um,
Because a
the
lot's changed between the last
oh
time you
yes.
spoke and now.
Absolutely. A lot has changed. So I think the money mindset, and it's actually continuing to flourish, has probably been the biggest part. But I also listen on Audible to a bunch of books. And so in the morning when I'm getting ready, I'm listening to a book or I'm listening to a podcast or I'm doing something that's enriching my life.
So
Because
so
if I
what are some books or that you really recommend that you go, okay, I really like this one or this podcast. Like give us some examples of things
so
that you'll put on repeat.
the one book, you are the mountain.
You're the mountain.
You are the mountain. I think that's what it is. I have to go into my phone real quick to see it, but it's You Are the Mountain. And then there's another book that I'm reading or listening to about the millionaire mindset.
Mm.
And so he basically just breaks it down into, if there is any aspect in your life where you feel you are not getting what you deserve, then you are also saying you don't deserve anything else. So, hypothetically speaking, let's say that you have a toxic relationship with a friend of a friend, and you don't stand up for yourself because you don't want to be chaotic, you don't want to be, all this, all that. But you are also saying that you don't deserve the respect, that you're not worthy of the respect. And so that carries on into other aspects of your life. So when a client disrespects you, you play it off as you're like, do I really deserve that? Because I don't deserve it over here. You may not intentionally be saying that you don't deserve it. In your head, you're probably like, man, that was jacked up. I deserve better than that. But do you? Because
Yeah.
if you're not showing that you deserve better, there's no way that our minds can differentiate that you don't deserve better and not have conflict over here, but you do deserve better over here when you're dealing with your client. If you talk negatively about this situation, then the mind is automatically going to let you talk negatively about any other situation that you're dealing with in your life.
Yep. 100% because we are our own worst enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our own self-talk is what sabotages us. The people out there that are doing super, super successful, it's not because they have a third arm or this or that. It's basically just what they know. They just know something that we don't know. And like for example, these interviews, if someone is not making six figures and they want to make six figures like you, then all they have to do is go, okay, this is what Honey knows. This is what Honey does. If I can do similar things, I hope to get similar results.
Right,
Right. And I truly believe a lot of people just have a sense of entitlement where they want the result, but when they see the result is this pretty package, right? This pretty package is the six-figure income that a successful person like yourself is making. But when they see the work that resulted into that, they're like, I gotta follow up with clients. I gotta pay attention to them more. I gotta do
mhm.
this. I gotta, look at social media. I
I
gotta
gotta lick stamps and send
I
them
gotta
postcards.
yeah, SEO. I gotta learn stuff. And you know what the funny part,
Mhm.
honey, is like, and again, I don't mean to be insulting or doubt anything. You don't appear to be someone that's super technical. Like, I don't know if you're an IT geek guru or something like that. But when I'm hearing you talking shit like SEO and this and optimization, how did you learn this stuff? What did you do to learn this stuff that where you now just spouting it off with such confidence?
So, I got lost in Facebook, and somehow the algorithm kept shooting coaches at me and would say, "Do you want 30 new clients in 30 days? Do you want to make $100,000? Do you want to be able to do this? Do you want to be able to do that?" And so I would sign up for everything. You
Yeah.
get a freebie, and I almost got to a point where I was getting sick of it, because every time I signed up for a freebie, I would get the freebie, but then you had to buy this to get this. And you could only do it in a limited period of time, or else that offer is gone forever. And then I started learning that I was being trained. But
Mhm.
as I was being trained to act, I was learning the sales process at the same time. You got to catch people on that emotional place. Are you tired of working 9 to 5 and not making $1 million a year? Why, yes, I'm tired of working 9 to 5 and not. How did you know that? That's okay. I've got the secret sauce for you.
I love it.
And so when I started paying attention, I was like, well, how did they know to find me? And then I started, as I started getting all of those blasts, somewhere along the line, I found something about the SBA website. And when I got onto the SBA website, then I found Score, which led me down into all these other Zoom trainings. And then there was something about grants from the SBA website. So when I clicked on the grants, it listed a bunch of grants that were available. Well, when I started clicking on all the grants that were available, one of them was like a Google grant, another one was a Verizon grant. But to qualify for the grants, you had to complete classes.
Mhm.
So I started doing the classes that Verizon sending me the classes for free. Like, whatever you want to know is free through this Verizon link that I clicked. Same thing with Google. I ended up getting like this Google business scholarship that gave me access to like $10,000 worth of classes. Um, and so I just never stopped clicking,
Yeah.
basically, is what it was. Like I said, I had an insatiable curiosity, and I just never stopped learning what was out there. The information that's available for us, if we're just curious enough to find out what it is, it's really easy.
So how long did it take you to learn some of this Google SEO stuff?
It wasn't really long at all, because a lot of the stuff that I was getting from these grants were like ebooks. And in these ebooks, it told you exactly what to do. And it also, so that led me to the Hike SEO website. And Hike was a website where you could go in and put your website in it, tell it what pages you wanted it to scrub. It would scrub the pages, and it would tell you how you boost your ratings.
Yeah.
It
So
would literally.
so
Oh,
and so it will
it's
tell you what to do. You do it, and how many clients would you say do you get a month from that just come from Google?
that all of them.
So roughly how much a month? Like new clients, I guess you would say.
I average, to be fair,
Yeah.
I work a very short schedule. I work 15 hours a week. Um, I have on average close to 80 clients a month that I see.
Mhm.
Of that average, maybe 5 or 6 of them are new
Okay.
because of my limited schedule. But I did that on purpose.
So of
But
the
now my wait list is off the chain.
so of the 80 that you have,
Yeah.
all of them you say are from Google?
They all did originate from Google.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. You went out, you learned some stuff. You're not very technical, but you just went through the process. And if you had to give a time frame of just rough ballpark of how long it took you to learn this Google stuff where your clients come from, how long would you say if you wanted to do it again, roughly
Uh-huh.
how long would it take you to do it again?
To learn just the foundational parts of it.
Yeah, the part that you implemented to get to where you are.
Maybe maybe Sunday to Saturday. If you were working all week long and you came home and you devoted an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes just to learning what you needed to do on each page of your website and what blank to fill in, from Sunday to the next Saturday, you would know everything that you needed to do to your website. Maybe
So
5 hours.
so about, let's just say 1 week.
Yeah, in one
So
week's time.
in 1 week's time, you can revolutionize your business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So well, there you go. And what website did you say it was? Hike? Hike, you just put it in and they'll look at it?
Yes, Hike SEO, and they're absolutely affordable compared to SEMrush.
Mm-hmm.
Because I ended up on SEMrush first. SEMrush was a referral from the SBA website. When I got the ebook, it told me to go to SEMrush, but then how somehow in the algorithm, I jumped back on Facebook and the algorithm sent me Hike SEO. I clicked on Hike SEO, got like a 1 month free trial. In that 1 month free trial, when I'm telling you, I banged that website out in that 1 month free trial. Because every day it would tell you something new. It would say, if you're trying to rank for spa facials, then here's what you need to say in this spot. Here's what you need to say in this spot. Here's what you need to say in this spot. But then it would give you like a long list of words that you could use.
Yeah.
So all you needed to do was come up with a sentence that put those words in there and put it in that blank that it told you to put it in, and bam, you're done.
Right. And so you've created this system that you've learned, and it brings people in based on what they're looking for, more or less.
Yes.
And honey, again, you're not an IT guru, are you? I don't know. Maybe you are.
No.
So
I'm 50 years old. Do you know what generation
so everybody, again, but this is the difference, right, between a lightning bug and a lightning bolt. The difference is a lot of business owners, I believe, are like lightning bugs because they want to do it. They're not, but they're like, oh my God, I got to learn this thing. If Honey can do it, you can do it. Honey is a lightning bolt. She wanted to do it. She went to it. She's curious about it, learned the process, implemented it. Now she's booked completely and has a waiting list. Right. And the last time, Honey, you and I talked, that was not the case. You're trying to grow your business, trying to figure things out. But
I was coming off of 4 months of not being in the business with barely any clientele left. And the clientele that I did have left were Grouponners that were still looking for the discount facial.
Yeah. So you went from clients that were potentially tire kickers to people that are now giving you a lifestyle and earning 6 figures.
My average ticket sale is $150, and I work a very limited schedule. My sales are down by, I think my sales are down 17%, but my average ticket is up 27%.
Yes.
That's how you want to work. I don't need 9,000 people a year. I don't need 900 people a year. I need X amount of sales per year in this small time frame. How much do I need to sell per hour to work the schedule I want to work and make the money that I want to make? And I work backwards from there.
And the question is to you, audience, are you doing the math? Right? Because that's the Honey hit the nail on the head. You do it backwards. Go, okay, this is how much time I have. This is how much I want to earn. But make it, don't, I call it Santa's wish list. I wish I was making 10,000 a month. I wish this. You can either wish for it or you can work for it.
Right.
But at one point you have to get committed and go, I am committed to this, ride or die. This is what I need to happen. and realize that there's that work that needs to be done for them. The shit's not going to sell itself.
No.
Right.
But if you also believe that you deserve it, there's one thing that I think triggers inside of us when we believe that we deserve something. When you believe that you deserve something and you're not getting it, you will fight tooth and nail to either A, earn your respect to say, have that person say, you do deserve that, or B, you just get what you deserve.
Yeah. And you know
You
what?
get
I think people are confusing those two because there's so many people, oh, I believe this, I believe, but like for me, belief is not just built on what I believe. My belief is built on the foundation of work I did that builds my belief, right?
right.
Because it's like a chink in the armor. If we go, okay, I believe I'm a six-figure esthetician, I believe that, but I know in the back of my head, I'm not doing social media, I'm not learning about Google, I'm not working on this, I didn't follow up with my clients, I'm not learning about my clients. It's easier to build belief by a track record of you knowing you put in the work.
Right.
Right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So to follow up with that, you asked me what were some of the other things that I did differently. When I drained the swamp on my Facebook page, I didn't really know how to communicate with them because that was a new niche for me. I wanted an ideal client, but I didn't know what to say to them. So I got into networking.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined probably every single business networking group that was in the city of Louisville.
Like what? Like list them off roughly.
I joined the Better Business Bureau. I joined a women's networking group. I joined two of the town chambers.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined the St. Matthew's Chamber, the J-Town Chamber. I joined the Better Business Bureau. I joined the Independent Business Owners of Louisville. I joined, and in those two chambers, they have leads groups. So I joined two of the leads groups in the chambers. And that's where you had one person from every organization or every industry who was only in that particular networking group. I also joined a women's networking group that basically based in all of the Louisville women, but it was mainly social media based. And so we did Zooms and stuff like that. At one point in time, the second week of the month was generally the week where everybody went to their networking meetings. Every single month for like 9 months, the second week of the month, I was nonstop networking meetings. In those networking meetings, I joined forces with other businesses that were having events.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to their events and I'm supporting them and I'm talking about it on Facebook. And so when I had an event, they would talk about it in their groups with their people. So when I had my reopened house, I had a basket with almost over, I think it valued at $1,200 with vouchers, gifts, gift certificates from the community. I didn't provide much of anything at all in the basket. It was the support that I had from other business members that I had networked with.
Yes.
So then they're telling their people. And so I can't say that I regret spending all of that time away from my business because it was a very pivotal point in my business where I needed faces on the table. But instead, I just got out in the community. And by getting out in the community, I built solid relationships with people who got out in the community for me when I couldn't be there.
So was that hard for you to do? I know some people are introverts, some people don't want to go out. Like how did you convince yourself to one join all those, like talk about fucking go big or go home, right? You joined them all. So
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
YOLO
Yeah.
for that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah. So how did you go about it? How did you go about introducing yourself to these other businesses? Because I know a lot of other gals have so many challenges in that area.
so I had extreme social anxiety that stemmed from traumatic experiences in my younger years. And so trying to talk to another person and take up space was extremely hard for me. And then I had one business owner, she looked me dead in my eyes and she said, if you do not celebrate yourself and tout on yourself, no one else will either. If you don't brag on yourself, no one else will brag on you either. And at first I was like, well, that's a different way of looking at things. But then I started understanding as things started coming together in my business world where I was winning all these awards. Then I ended up winning the second top day spa in Louisville. And then these organizations want to know what you do that's so different. They want to know what you do that's so amazing. And if you're not comfortable saying, I give the best facial massage in Louisville,
Yeah.
if they don't feel it, then there's no reason for them to tell anyone else what they just felt, what they just seen, what they just heard.
So esthetician's question, can you look in the mirror, literally look into your own eyes, deep into your own eyes in the mirror and say, I am the best esthetician in your city, right? Because like with Honey, if as you're listening to this, you can hear the conviction. And that conviction isn't just fake it till you make it. That
Mm-mm.
conviction is a proven track record, knowing you put in the work, knowing you put in the time, knowing you listen to your clients, knowing you go above and beyond, knowing you're connecting with other business owners. When you build this foundation of knowing, it's no longer a fake it till you make it. It's like,
Mhm.
I know I am the best. And when you
Mhm.
can say it in those words while you're looking into someone's eyes and say it the way Honey says it, then that's when you know it's your time.
Right. And with that, when the third year came up to win the next award, I actually didn't even participate in the awards because I felt like I have proven myself, just like you said. I don't have the little voices in my head at night saying, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? Did you do that? I put the systems in place. I do everything the same way every single time. It's a routine for me. My clients love me. I'm struggling with finding time for new clients. My sales are up. I'm working the schedule I want to work. I don't need to be in this contest this year. I feel as if I have proven to myself, and that's what was important, that I could prove to myself that I could do it. I did it. I went from number 3 to number 2. Number 1 is set for this $1 trillion med spa that I'm not going to say that I can't compete with, but I'm not going to compete with because it's apples to oranges. You have a payroll of X amount of dollars, and I am the payroll of X amount of dollars. It's apples to oranges, and I'm not going to keep competing with you. My people are my people, yours are yours. So I was done. And then I get an email, I guess about 3 weeks later, that said that I was nominated for business, women owned business of the year with a national organization.
Nice,
And I
nice.
was like, okay, so the minute that I say I've accepted that I've done everything that I needed to do and I don't need to prove it to anyone, me believing it is enough and seeing that belief come through my client's loyalty was enough for me. Then they're like, oh, by the way, you're nominated. And so that's amazing.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is when you give with a good heart
Yeah.
and when you help other businesses, like you mentioned, a business will have an event and you'll go there to support them, you'll share, right? This is all, like karma coins. The universe, it's a very generous universe. It's a very giving universe. And I truly believe we reap what we sow. And the
Mhm.
question that I'm asking the group and anybody that's watching this is pay attention, because I think a lot of disappointment comes from people that aren't sowing the seeds. And then when it comes time and they're seeing somebody like you harvest the goods, and they're like, well, where's my harvest? It's
Yeah.
because you weren't sowing the seeds. You were not putting in the work. You weren't reevaluating the business. You didn't spend a week or whatever time was required to learn a little bit about the SEO stuff. Because I'll tell you this, right? If Honey can do it, you can do it. Honey did not work at Google before becoming an esthetician.
No, no,
Honey isn't friends with Mark Zuckerberg yet,
no,
right? Where where
no.
where where Zucks is raising your Facebook algorithm, just Honey's alone, right?
Right.
Sometimes the world is against us, whether it's the health, whether it's other problems, and I hear all the time, well, there's so much competition out there, and I'm in a small town, and I've heard every excuse out there, because
Mm-mm.
when you're giving the excuses the power, you're taking it away from yourself.
Yes, you're making yourself small. Why do you want to make yourself small? You are amazing. You're grand. Take up the space.
That's it, right? If you're not going to believe in yourself, because nobody else is going to get up and push you to work harder for yourself. No one's going to say, "How can I make Honey's life easier today?
No, no.
What else can I do to get Honey more clients?" People aren't going to. You have to do it for yourself, or work with a team of people that all have and or are part of that goal,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else I miss, Honey? Anything else you'd like to throw in there?
Um, no, I feel like I do want to eventually branch out into being a consultant to help independent spa solo estheticians understand more the details of what I did. I do have an ebook that's in the works.
Awesome.
And of course my how to make Groupon work for you is still on Google, shameless plug. But I'm like, I forgot the book was out there. It's out there. But I am looking forward to actually working one-on-one with people. So whatever the question is, there's never a dumb question. It's probably a question that I ask myself over and over and over again. One of the things that I do really enjoy about my own personality, because you do kind of have to like yourself, right? And I wanted to be a person who liked themselves, is I will immediately find something where it's outside the box.
Mm.
If what There's a reason why you're feeling a restriction or an aversion towards something that's being told to you to do. Okay, I can't keep telling you to walk in a straight line if you have a deathly fear of walking in a straight line. Well, how can I get you to walk in circles to get you where you need to go? I'm going to think outside the box and find a resolution to a problem. And that's one of the things that I love about myself, is because in the beginning, when I was being told to walk in a straight line by Wick Verma, I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah, you know what? Here we are. It's different paths that we took to the same place,
Yes. And
right?
then I feel like I can just bring a fresh perspective, a fresh set of eyes to someone who I just have a question. And so that's eventually my goal, is to be a consultant, not so much a coach, because I don't want to be there every single day. I just want to be, because I work a limited schedule for a reason, y'all. I'm trying to be on the beach. Uh, but I do want to be someone who can check in with you when you have a problem and help you find a way to fix the problem.
You know what, Honey? One of the things that I learned from you today that I
What's that?
is impactful is that as you learn what it takes to run a business and become successful in the business and overcome these obstacles and problems, at the end of it, you realize, yeah, the money's nice, but it's exactly what you said. I'm proud of myself,
Absolutely.
right? Like to have that feeling is to me what the true one of the truest definitions of success. Because if you're doing good and you it's not always about being happy, because I think a lot of the times happiness isn't where we want to go. You know, like for example, I like watching Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Netflix makes me happy. I can sit there and you know, marathon through a whole season in one weekend. But I never told myself, you know what, I'm really proud that I really sat down for those 12 hours of my life and just knocked out that season, right? So
Right.
there to me, there's a definition about being happy or proud. And to me, my goal is to be proud of myself. And through that process, you know, I'm going to find my true happiness, which is the peace, which is understanding that life is work, that sometimes I'm going to have to step up and become a better version of myself. Like yourself, you became a better version of yourself by investing your time in learning how technology worked a little bit, or how Google worked, and how clients can find you faster, and all of that. So
Yeah.
that continual evolution. And honey, are you proud of yourself?
I'm absolutely proud of myself. Absolutely. And I think what's the next step for me, I think proud is an amazing place to be in, right? But because we're human, we're always like, okay, there's something else
Or
beyond that, right? There's something else more that can be done, because proud is great. I think proud is the first step.
and now what? Give back?
Yes. Now is the give back. Now is the I feel proud and I see how that is changing every other aspect in my life, how I'm doing and saying better things in these situations, how I'm making better decisions in these situations. What if I can do that for someone else?
Yes,
I
100%.
want to do that for someone else. But that's exactly what we do as estheticians. That's what our job is. I eat it, live it, breathe it, sleep it, drink it. I want other people to feel better, proud, happy, and confident.
Because you've gone through the journey, right?
Yeah.
You've seen both sides of that coin.
Yeah.
And to me, a person that has been down, been out, been hurting, right, been through all the hardships, you know, with you, especially with your health and all of that in between, you know, not knowing if your business is going to survive or not, not knowing will the clients come back or not, and to be able to become that phoenix and go, okay, this is where I was, right? I was literally just nowhere, delusional on in the hospital, and now this is where I am,
Yes.
right? And to me, I think that's one of the most wholesome things that a person like yourself can do, is because you've gone through that journey. You know, okay, if you work with a as a coach or what have you, a consultant, as you work with somebody else, and you can literally look at them and pinpoint them. Ah, this is where you are. This is exactly where I was. And then because you've already made that journey, you can walk them through what you did to get those, again, similar results.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what it's about. And I'm sure somebody's going to see me and be like, okay, now, honey, you got here. I'm going to help you get here. And I'm going to be like, absolutely. I'm ready for it. I've been waiting on it. I deserve it.
Yeah, just like that.
And that's the attitude you got to have.
And you know what? And I think that's one of the reasons why you and I get along so well, is we have that attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
And it's one, we're doing it, and I think I mentioned that to you in the beginning, is the reason I'm in this community. I just got tired of estheticians being screwed over by all these other gurus and this and that, and at the end of the day, it's just about them making money and you just doing all the work.
Yeah.
And to me, I think there's a better way for that, right? And I really, I love your story. I love your journey, right? You've inspired me some more, shoot. Which is the
That's
ace.
what it's about, right?
Iron sharpens iron, right? That's just how it is.
Absolutely. That's it.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
thank you so much, Wick.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Any last minute? So your last message out to all the estheticians out there that are struggling, that are not at six figures yet, you know, what's your final message to them?
My final message to them is if you are not where you want to be, you just haven't found the answer that can get you there. You just haven't looked in the right place. You have to keep looking. You have to be insanely curious. If you were working on your client's skin and you wanted to resolve an issue from them, you would search through a gazillion different products, a gazillion different ingredients, and you would find the one ingredient that would work for them. Find the one ingredient that works for you.
Oh, all right, y'all. So Honey, stick around for a second. All right, y'all. Again, if you have questions for Honey, if you're curious about her system, her process, any of that, please reach out. I'll tag her on this so you can reach out to her and bombard her with questions and concerns and all of that.
Yes, please.
Please do. Please do. Honey's a really good person, and I truly like her so much. So hope you learned something. Take notes. Go through the process. Remember, you are literally a decision a week away from changing your business. If Honey can do it, so can you. Peace.